Hi everybody, and welcome to this great Tuesday afternoon. This is Mr. Walter with Around the World with Mr. Walter, and I really hope that you're enjoying yourself, this great weather outside, and just kind of enjoying on this great Tuesday afternoon. And what a great show we have. So this is our second part of our series of Where on Google Earth is Carmen Sandiego. And I really enjoy these kind of videos because definitely it has all that mystery. We get a chance to kind of move around the world and follow Carmen with and kind of help her out as we interview different people around the world, trying to get to the bottom of this great mystery. So I hope that everybody's fine. I have the chat open if anybody wants to come in and just say hi. And I see already some people actually have come up as well. So this is just great time to come in and enjoy us and just say hi for just a few more minutes. We're going to start with Where on Google Earth is Carmen Sandiego. So as a prep for this, it's really interesting. We have, the Tutankhamun's mask caper. So Vile, which is our villain, has stolen one of the world's great treasures, and we gotta help Carmen Sandiego track them down around the globe to recover the loot. So it's really interesting. It's our second installment of Where in Google Earth is Carmen Sandiego, but I think it's one of the a little bit more fun. So as you know, I am a big gamer. I play a lot of role-playing games, so this is right up my alley on how to actually go and look around. And I think it would be another great idea. Just use some of these images and some of these great elements of the world to explore and have a game online. So thank you so much. We're gonna just kind of take a few of these other things off, and we're just gonna get going as Carmen needs our help. You're here. I need your help. Absolutely, Carmen. A Vile operative stole Tutankhamun's mask from the Egyptian Museum here in Cairo, and it's up to us to investigate the scene of the crime and track Vile from Cairo and recover the loot and bring it back. So a great mission that we have today. Good luck, and we can't wait. And we can't let Vile get away with it. So absolutely. So here's how the overall game is played. We're going to use the magnifying glass, and we're going to interview a few witnesses in each of the cities, and then we're going to gather clues. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to, once we know where the suspect has gone around the globe, we're just going to fly to that city, and from then on kind of start tracking them down. All right, so as we can see right here is our globe, and we are starting here from here we are in Dallas, Texas, as we kind of just look right in and get a closer look. So we are here in Texas, but we're going to head over to Cairo, and we're going to go right back at the banks of Cairo. So we are going to go all the way to Cairo and head right back into where we're gonna go. So where should we go first? Here's we're gonna go to Cairo in Egypt, and that's where we're gonna start. So here's Egypt, as you can see, and there's a few other cities. We have Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco that we have gone. Yesterday we were in Turkey, as well as in Lebanon, and we have Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Here's Jordan. We also were yesterday in Israel as well. We've gone to Greece and Italy, as well as France, Portugal. We haven't gone to Portugal, but we have gone to Spain. And let's see what other places. We went to Georgia as well yesterday, as we were looking at some of the great tombs that were built right onto the rock. and we have gone to India as well. So let's kind of fly down and let's go to our first stop, and let's go to the pyramids of Giza and just gonna talk to some of the locals as we're tracking Vile, who has stolen Tutankhamun's mask, and we'll kind of move right through. So let's go all the way down, and we'll go to the pyramids of Giza. And we're going to talk to the first local and see what's going on. You know, so he's an archaeologist. He says that all I know is that he said he wanted to buy a bagel with smear. Bagel with smear. So that's our first clue. Bagel, smear. So that's the first clues of where Vile has gone. As we take a quick look at the pyramids of Giza, and we have actually been here before, and we have actually seen some of this, and we got a chance to actually build one right here. So we got a chance to build one of the pyramids in our Exploring Egypt episode. It's probably one of the earlier episodes, like 3 or 4. So this is our 21st episode that you're watching, and actually our second episode where on Google Earth is Carmen Sandiego. All right, so we got our first clue, which is right here in the pyramids of Giza. We have that that what he said that he wanted was he wanted a bagel with smear. So we'll see. All right, so let's move away from the pyramids of Giza and let's go to the Tahrir Square, and right here also in Egypt, and we'll go right again and try to find and actually talk to a bus driver. So it says that a reliable source told him that he wanted to ride the Cyclone at Coney Island. So he wanted to ride the Cyclone at Coney Island. So that's another one of another great question, whether he wanted to ride. And we are here in the Tahrir Square in Egypt, as we can see all the great, and we're talking with one of the bus drivers and said that he wanted to ride the Cyclone at Coney Island. So I think that's a pretty significant clue of where our masked caper has gone. So, thank you for joining in and kind of chime in. Hi, Mr. Adam, good to see you, and thank you for joining in. We are now in Egypt, and we are actually looking for the one of Vile's operatives, as he has stolen the Tutankhamun's mask, and we're in Egypt taking a quick look and interviewing some of the locals. So the first one that we interviewed said that the person wanted to buy some bagels and smear, and now we have another clue that he wanted to go to ride the Cyclone at Coney Island. So let's find our third, and we'll go to the Nile River. We've actually seen the Nile River before here in Egypt, and what's really interesting, we've seen it not only during the day but also at night. So here's one of the boat captains, and the boat captain says that a suspicious person was here. He was researching 19th century suspension bridges. So that's another one of the points, that's really interesting. So he was actually researching 19th century suspension bridges. So we have a few questions. I haven't played yet, so I really hope that you get a chance to help me out as we are looking on where on earth is the masked caper, the Vile operative that took Tutankhamun's, and we're taking a beautiful look at the Nile River here in Egypt before, and as tracking down some of the clues of where this Vile operative has actually move through. So let's see. We have gone already to the pyramids of Giza, to the Tahrir Square, and we've also been here in the Nile River. 3 areas here in Egypt, and now becomes the question is, where do you think the next city where this operative has gone? So I think it's pretty obvious, and one of the obvious points that we actually seen is that he wants to ride the Cyclone at Coney Island, and that definitely has to be in New York City. So let's kind of go all the way. We're moving right from Egypt, and we're just going to cross the world, and as we cross the world, right into New York City, and perfect. There we go. The Statue of Liberty, and there he is. That's the sheriff, which is a vile master climber. So let's make sure he doesn't lose us and get away. So New York City, from a full top view, the Big Apple is packed with famous landmarks from all the way from Broadway all the way to the Statue of Liberty. So we're going to start talking to some locals, as well as just try to find what is going to be the best way to grab this vile operative. So let's talk to some locals. And I think one of the interesting points about New York City, which you will love and I love as well from Google Earth, is it's highly detailed. Almost every building in full New York City can be seen, so you can take a great look from this point as we track the mask caper that took Tutankhamun's mask. So we'll interview some of the locals, and we'll go to three great places. We'll go to the Statue of Liberty, we'll go to the Empire State Building, and then we'll go to Central Park. So let's start with Central Park, and gonna move across town and go straight into Central Park. As you can see, Central Park is just a huge piece of land right in the middle of Manhattan. So we got, in Central Park, we're talking to one of the goalies that's playing out in the fields, and she heard him say that he wanted to visit the Brandenburg's Gate. So that's one of the clues. So that's really interesting. Another point in which you can actually take. So let's make note of that. Where is this operative going as it's coming out across? So we'll so we're going to move away from Central Park, but you can definitely see as we kind of move across an incredible look at full Central Park. All the waters, the greens, the golf courses. So just beautiful place right here, right in the middle of the island of Manhattan, as you can see right from here in New York City. All right, so as we kind of take this, we'll go to the next stop. So we know that he's a master climber, and so we can go and we saw him on top of the Statue of Liberty. So let's move to the Statue of Liberty and see if we can take a quick look there. So there is Liberty Island. So where the Statue of Liberty. So the park ranger says, my sources tell me he left in a ship flying a black, red, and gold flag. A black, red, and gold flag. So that's what he actually took. So we have, two great pieces of information. The flag of the place that is going next, black, red, and gold, and also Brandenburg's Bridge, which is another one of the clues that we have here of this mass caper. So before we go, let's take a quick look, as we move right there, right at the edge, and we'll be able to see the Statue of Liberty. So let's move out a little bit, and there we go. The Statue of Liberty, as we take a quick look, and let's land right on top of the Statue of Liberty. Can't get any better closer look at this great monument here in New York City and Liberty Island. So just an incredible look at the full, and we'll see, great place right here, Liberty Island at here in Manhattan. So let's move back, and we got already two clues, and let's find the last clue at the Empire State Building. And as we fly again across town, and you can see the Empire State Building right at the edge, and we're going to talk to a sightseer who was actually on top, and says, I saw the person that you were looking for. He planned to study the history of Prussia. So the history of Prussia, we have a different flag, which is red, black, and gold. And then we have another one, which is Brandenburg's Bridge. So we have three of these, great examples of what we have. So as we kind of move across, we'll kind of keep looking, but we'll just move again to the Empire State Building as we take another closer look and see how close we can actually go all the way right on top of the Empire State Building. So an incredible look here in New York, and some of the architecture as well as the full tower of the Empire State Building. And now we have a great question. Where is this person going? Is he going to Sydney in Australia? Is he going to Istanbul? Is he going to Berlin? Or is he going to Cairo? So we've already, so Cairo, we already been to, Egypt in that area. So, and we know that in Sydney, Australia, that's in question. So it's either Istanbul or Berlin. So that's some of the great questions. I think, from we said that it's from, we were studying the history of Prussia. I think it's Berlin. So let's kind of move and see if that's the way that this person is going. So let's fly all the way across, and as we land right there in Berlin and take a look, there he goes. Another one, yes. So he is here. You must be on the right track as we see him, cornering around the top of the buildings as a master climber. So we are in Berlin in Germany. Berlin was restored as Germany's capital after the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. So let's ask around and let's see, but you see the needle that's right in front of us, and that is where the operative has been climbing and moving back and forth. So let's start talking to some of the locals and see what information we can get, and then we can move right across. So we know that he was asking about Brandenburg's Gate, and we can also go to the Berliner Frankenstein, as also as Charlottenburg Palace. So there's a few places that we can go. So let's go to the palace first, which will be, I think, one of the most interesting places that we can go as we kind of move around here in Berlin, and taking a quick look at Charlottenburg's palace and the groundskeeper, which you can see right there, just an amazing, incredible area of just the grounds around the palace. Says that my sources tell me he wanted to know the exchange rate for pesos. So the exchange rate for pesos. So we already know that it has to be with pesos. It's got to be either in Spain or it can be somewhere in Latin America. So let's kind of start thinking of where that exchange rate for that currency, the pesos currency, could be. So we are taking a great look at the palace, and you can see all the grounds, especially the intricate decorations that are right in the bottom. And again, let's see how close we can get in as we kind of walk around. Yes, very close, almost looking into the palace's windows. So you can see all the ornate decorations with all the flowers. So one of the groundskeepers is, telling us that here in Berlin, one of Weil's operatives has actually been asking around the exchange rate for pesos. So here it is, another very interesting look at Berlin, and we're going to keep asking for a few other locals to see where we can get information. So as we kind of move, and let's go to the next stop is Brandenburg's Gate. So let's go to Brandenburg's Gate and see if we can ask around as we are on the right track right behind. So here we go. So one of the tourists says, I've heard that he always wanted to try dulce de leche for dessert. Dulce de leche. All right, so dulce de leche, already we have two great. So we know that he's asking for pesos, and then this great dessert, dulce de leche, which is another one of the points that one of the tourists heard him say. And we are at Brandenburg's Gate, and as you can see, the gate right here and the straight plaza, just a beautiful, beautiful expanse as we kind of walking around and looking, investigating here in Berlin, and obviously taking in some of the sights as we are looking for Tutankhamun's mask stolen by Vile. On our second, Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego? So, beautiful place here at the Brandenburg's Gate, and we have our second clue. First clue was that he was looking to exchange for pesos, and the next clue was that he wants to try dulce de leche. So as we have all those two questions already, we'll kind of move and see what will be the next clue that we have here. So the third is we already been to Charlottenburg Palace, so we have already been to the palace, and we are here at Brandenburg's Gate here in Berlin. So let's go to the last point, which is the Berliner of Frankenstein. So as we go to the Berliner, and there it is, and this is actually where we started, and we can just look at a full view of this huge structure. And one of the engineers is telling us that the person you're looking for was here, and he asked for a book about Diego Maradona. All right, so Diego Maradona, he wanted to change the currency for pesos. He wanted to try on one of the great desserts, which is dulce de leche. So 3 clues, and we already know, or at least I think I already know where he is going. So as we're going to leave Berlin, and we're just going to fly over Latin America and just take a quick look and try to find where this thief has gone. So where are we going? Are we going to St. Louis? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. Mumbai? I don't think that's it. Is it Buenos Aires or is it New York City? Now, we already came from New York City, so I know that is not the place that we're headed. St. Louis in Missouri, I don't think that's also another one, especially because the currency is US dollar. Then we have Mumbai, and I think Mumbai, could be interesting point, but we know that this person is looking to taste dulce de leche, so I think definitely has to be Buenos Aires. And so as we cross right over the world, we're definitely going to go to Latin America, and we're going to fly all the way down and get very close here in Buenos Aires. There we go. So there he is again. So we are getting very close as this thief is moving around the globe, and we are already very close to catching him. So we are in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, which is a place that we haven't come close yet, and we haven't actually moved. I'm so glad we get a chance to do this as we're tracking down this thief, helping Carmen Sandiego. So Argentina is a cosmopolitan capital. It's one of South America's most important ports and most populous city. So let's start talking to some of the locals and see if we can track down and also take a look at here at Buenos Aires. And let me just pan out a little bit. As you can see, it's a port city and one of the most important ones. And I think that what makes it very important is that as we take a look and we just kind of fly in, it has that great indentation of a port. So that makes it even a lot easier to go inland and then have Uruguay, here's Argentina, and then we have some Paraguay that's up here, as well as Brazil. So we have different areas, and Chile, which is right next door. So it's a great place, and I'm glad that we got a chance to come in. So let's go talk a little bit, and we have 3 areas that we can kind of go and explore. So we have Casa Rosada, and Obelisco, which means obelisk, and the Teatro Colón, which is the Colón Theater. So let's go to the theater first, and after that we'll go to the different other places. So as we kind of move right in, we're actually going to the theater district in Buenos Aires, and there is the Teatro Colón, And you can see not only the theater, but you see all the grounds that are right behind it. So one of the ushers says that the person you're looking for was here and he was practicing his Mandarin. So he was practicing the pronunciation and he's practicing Mandarin. So we know that that has to be in Asia already. So let's try to kind of take that as our first clue. As we take a look at the Teatro Colón, right in the main entryway in the plaza that's right behind it, right here in one of the most populous cities in South America, in Buenos Aires, and you can see all the great port that we have seen. So let's move out from this specific place in this district in the Teatro Colón, and let's talk to some of the other locals, and let's go to the obelisk. So as we fly close by, just a few more blocks, you can see the obelisk, which is right in the center, just to direct traffic left and right. So one of the tourists says, sources tell me he always wanted to visit the Forbidden City. So we got our first clue. He wants to practicing Mandarin, and then we have our second clue, which is, he wanted to visit the Forbidden City. So we have two of them already. So we are actually looking at the Obelisco in Buenos Aires in Argentina, one of the most popular cities in South America. And we already have our second clue as we take a quick look at the obelisk. And again, I'm going to see how close I can get with Google Earth. And I think we can get very, very close. So so some of these great resources that we have, as we're able to kind of zoom in and take a quick look at the obelisk in the city of Buenos Aires in Argentina. And let's talk about a third local, and then we'll just move and actually see which way that we can go. So the last place that we can interview is in Casa Rosada. All right, so Casa Rosada, again, right here at the very edge. You can see it right from there. It's at one of the big government buildings. So one of the bureaucrats says, all I know is that he drove away in a vehicle flying, just having a flag with yellow stars. So a flag with yellow stars. He wanted to visit the Forbidden City, and he was practicing Mandarin. So there's three clues of where are we heading next on our second installment on Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego. And now we're tracking down a thief that stole Tutankhamun's mask. So we've already been to Egypt, we've been to Germany. Our third stop here is in Buenos Aires in Argentina, as we actually kind of moving and seeing one of the key government buildings, Casa Rosada, right in the edge of the city. And one of the really interesting points of Casa Rosada is that it has a sundial clock. So you can see as the sun beams down, it starts telling you and looking at the hour. So it's a great way not only to have a monument in a park, but also to actually use an example of how our ancient cultures started to tell time, and then how our modern culture has kept that tradition. So we have already gone to the three areas. We've gone to the obelisk, we've gone to Teatro Colón. So where are we going? So are we going to London? Are there three clues towards London? Are we going to Dubai? Are we going to Berlin? Or are we going to Beijing? So I think I'm pretty confident of where we're going to head next as we keep on tracking down this thief. So let's go to Beijing. So we're flying all the way from Argentina, and you can see all the way across we're going to mainland China as we just, drive into Beijing. Beijing first became China's capital in 1267, and has seen incredible growth in recent years. So we're going to ask around, but before we start asking around and where we're going, look at the size of Beijing. So you can see the full city as it just, it has an incredible area and expanse. It's one of China's capital. So let's see what areas we can go. Oh, that is another great place. So there's a few places here in China, and we haven't gone to China yet. So I'm going to make a note of that because that's going to be a lot of fun. So we get a chance to go to the Great Wall of China, Temple of Heaven, and the National Center for the Performing Arts. 3 great places here in Beijing, here in China. So let's go to the National Center for the Performing Arts first, and then we'll track the thief down into these other places. So let's go to the National Center of the Performing Arts in China, as we're just going to fly in and we're going to take a quick look at some of these, this great, beautiful place. So here's the National Center for the Performing Arts, and we're talking to one of our violinists who says that the person you're looking for, right, is right here in town. So we already know that it's right, that person is right here in town, so that's a great thing. So we're going to be moving around here in Beijing, and we're just taking a quick look at the dome that is the National Center for the Performing Arts. So it just have beautiful grounds. Not only has the administrative buildings and so forth, but just a full plaza that it has right here, as well as some of the attractions right at the edge. But you can see how live concerts and open areas have been done. It just in the same idea, just across this bay or this cross of this man-made lake, we see the National Center, just like the Opera House that we saw in Sydney, Australia. So it's a very interesting, location. So let's kind of continue and see where we got. Look, there he is. There is the thief, and he's actually right at the Wall of China. So as we help here, Carmen Sandiego, Carmen Sandiego has now caught the thief, and great work. We caught the thief and stopped Vile. So great places, and captured right back on regained Tutankhamun's mask, which will be returned to the people of Cairo. So great, thank you, just kind of walking and going across the world. The next time the Vile strikes, I hope we can count on you, and we obviously will, to track him down and help her again. So great place, but we are going to go just one more place, which really interesting is that we didn't get a chance to go, and we'll go to the Great Wall of China, and we will kind of move around again as we'll go and we'll just fly to some of these places. And so we went to so we went to New York, we went to New York City. That's one of the places that we have gone. We then went to as we saw some of the great places here in New York. We actually then came in and went all the way to Berlin, as we flew across the world again, and we went to Berlin. So just kind of recap of all the places that we were. Then we went to Buenos Aires. So as the thief kind of moved right through, so the next stop that we went was Buenos Aires. And Buenos Aires is all across the way. As you can see, we went all the way to South America, and we got a chance to kind of walk around in different places, as the thief was also jumping around through some of the Casa Rosadas and just over the flag. And then we also went to Beijing, as we flew all across the world to China. And what I wanted to get to is, getting a chance to see some of these monuments as well. So we'll see the Great Wall of China, and as we'll just look right here and kind of talk to some of the locals. But one of the best things about it was, that the Great Wall of China, as we get a chance to fly and look in the Temple of Heaven, as we take a quick look again, the Temple of Heaven, which is one of the places that I wanted to get to here with Photosphere. We get a chance to see here in Beijing, China, the huge temple that is the Temple of Heaven. And we can take a quick look around and see this, all the rest of the plaza, definitely architecture that is done is just incredible architecture and very stylistic. And we have the full plaza, and now, just taking great pictures of the Temple of Heaven here in the forgotten city in Beijing, China. So it's just another great, incredible piece of architecture that we see, and see how close we can get, and see if you can take a quick look at some of the intricate works of art that are just lined the full building, as well as all the intricate work that also has been done across the way. And we can take a quick look as we see the full structure and the full monument. Let's see if I can take another quick look and go across and see if we can see the Great Wall of China, and see if we can take a quick look as we will pan out a bit. And so we are at the temple, and now we're just going to move and see if we can head out to the Great Wall of China. Let's move out and take a quick look at the Great Wall, if I can find it. But that's going to be another great full episode, which is finding the Great Wall and looking at the Great Wall of China. I think it's right very close to here, but it's only the top view. Right, so we will kind of move again. We'll kind of look through and see at some of the great landmarks across the world. So where did we go today? So today is just a great example of where we have flown from place to place. So we started in right here in Egypt. So we started in Egypt, and we got a chance to see some of these places. We went to the Nile River. We also went to some of the great places in the Giza pyramids that were really close. So we got a chance to actually move and see. So we went to Egypt, then we flew all the way to New York City. Then we went all across the way. We came right back up, and we went to Germany. We were in Berlin, as well as some of the other places. So here's Germany right here. Here is Egypt, the second place that we went today. We also went across the globe here in the United States, and we got a chance to go to New York City. Then after New York City, we flew all the way down, and we saw South America, and we went all the way to Argentina, which is right here, and we went to Buenos Aires right here, right at the edge of Uruguay and Brazil and Chile, which is just the areas that are here in South America. And then after that, we went to Beijing in China, across the world. And here we go. So here's China. There's Mongolia around top, North and South Korea, Japan, the Philippines, We have India, which has been a few places, a few times. We haven't gone to Thailand or Malaysia, but we've gone to Singapore, and we've actually gone all the way down to Australia. Indonesia, we haven't gone as much, but we will definitely. So there's just great places. And here we've gone to Jordan. I went to Saudi Arabia. We went to Yemen as well. And on the continent of Europe, we've gone to several places, right? We've gone to South Africa. We've gone to Lagos. We've gone to Nigeria, Cameroon, and a few Liberia as well. So we've gone to some of these places as well. So as you can see, they're just a great way or just great opening of places where we still have to go. So as we turn right back and take a quick look at our world and where we are sitting today, we're sitting here in Dallas, Texas, but we have kind of moved all across the world. So let me make a few more announcements before we return right here and take just a quick look. So I wanted to let you know that we are starting this week with Masters of the Dungeonverse Online. So we are actually, Mr. Adam and I, we are playing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We're actually going to be starting playing all sorts of games online. We're playing the Star Wars role-playing game, which is a lot of fun. So we'll welcome you, anybody, new players as well, to join in, sign up, and we'll be playing during the afternoons, this great adventures. We're specifically going to be playing the adventure of the Escape of Moshuta, which is, the band together with other great heroes to escape the Empire. So it's going to be a lot of fun and also a great way to spend an afternoon just playing and doing some great role-playing with some of the characters from the Star Wars universe. We're playing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday mornings. So we're having a lot of fun, not only creating and playing the adventures, but teaching the game, which is very important and lots of fun. So we're playing Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We teach the game, we teach the rules, we provide everything. The only thing you have to do is sign up and then log in, and it's going to be just a lot of fun of us playing the Star Wars role-playing game through Masters of the Dungeonverse Online. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is Mr. Walter from Around the World. Coming up next, we have the Steam Crane with Mr. Dorian, having great live interaction games, as well as 4 o'clock, we have from the Numi Vault. So that's for students K to 5th grade. This is Mr. Ben providing all sorts of games, puzzles, and brain twisters. So it's a lot of fun just from that full creative elements of a New Minds, the Numi Vault. At 5 o'clock, we have Mr. Justin with closing messages. He's going to provide announcements for parents on how do we move forward, as well as make sure that you check out Kristen's Power Hour, Parent Power Hour in the morning. That's another great resource for parents just to kind of get everything together and make sure that we are here live every day, making sure that you have all the best content from different of our inspirators at New Minds Enrichment through New Minds TV. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Real Inspired Learning for All. And remember to always pursue your passion. My passion is gaming and playing. I have games all sorts. So we play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. We play a lot of other types of board games. I'm more than happy to teach and play the games online since it's been a hobby of mine for over 30 years. And so make sure that you pursue your passion until it becomes your talent. So this is Mr. Walter from Around the World. And we're just going to get back to seeing our world. Let me exit out from our overall game and take another quick look at our world as we kind of move along and see all the great places. So today we flew all around, and there's a few places which definitely have to add. The Great Wall of China is another one which we can do a full episode, and I'm sure we're going to do that pretty soon, as well as some of the others. We haven't gone to Mongolia. We haven't really explored China. We haven't gone to the Arctic at all. So kind of look around. Then also we can go back to some of the countries within Africa, as well as a great place which we haven't gone, which is the Galapagos Islands, which is right here, right off the coast of Ecuador, right there. So that's another great place. Colombia, we haven't gone to Colombia at all. So another great place that we can definitely go. And Trinidad and Tobago as well. So there's a few other places. Haiti, Jamaica. We haven't got to Jamaica, so we got to go to Jamaica. And obviously, very close to my heart, all the places here in Central America. We can explore Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Belize, and Guatemala. We have so many places we can go in Mexico as well. As far as the United States, we haven't gone to most of the states, so we'll actually travel right through some of these great places. In Canada, we've actually gone just a few places. We've been to Niagara Falls, we have gone, but we haven't gone to Toronto or the other great cities here in Canada. So a lot of places in Alaska as well. So a lot of places to still explore in our world, and this is the 21st episode of Mr. Walter, Around the World with Mr. Walter. So thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in to Real Inspired Learning. I'm Mr. Walter. Thank you for joining me this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Here's the next things that are coming up. So have a good one.